Christian's going to talk about buy downs and what's going to help you get your clients into those properties.
Hey guys. So the first thing is that in our industry, I think in good times we're at bars and at bad times we're in bars. So we're pretty much always at bars. So all right, so I'm gonna talk about difference of a 2-1 buy down to a permanent buy down, because we keep on running into this, that people want to ask for the seller concessions, because who's getting seller concessions on their offers right now? A lot of people, right? Still doing it. And they think by offering, $15,000 or $10,000, they're going to drastically save the client a bunch of money, and that's going to help their payments, right? But what we're not seeing is people coming to us asking what the buy down amount is, how much the temporary buy down amount is, and the reason why we push the temporary compared to the buy down, right? So just want to go over a few things with you guys. So this is going to be, just want to kind of clearly give an example on why you would want maybe a temporary buy down to a permanent buy down, and how to talk to your clients about this. Because a lot of times they think it's temporary, they don't want to do it. And why do they want to think that? Because they or their parents lost a house in 2008. They were an adjustable rate. They can't do it again, right? Anybody here lose a house in 2007, 2008? Come on, let's be honest, right? And who was in an adjustable rate mortgage at that time? Anybody? I guarantee you a lot of people were, though. I guarantee you. And then you lost it. Yeah. Man, I could walk into a house with zero down. It was cheaper than walking into getting something to rent. And it was a 2-year fixed. It was called a 228 with a 3-year prepay, because I could sell that, make extra premium on the back. And so people are still scared. People still remember that because they were a kid, their parents lost the house, whatever it may be, right? So I just want to make sure that you guys have the correct talk track when you guys are talking to clients, to explain why maybe the buy down makes more sense, okay? So for the example that you guys are looking at, you're going to see it's a $500,000 home, 3% down, property taxes 1.25%, homeowners insurance, kind of just using basics. So a loan amount of $485,000. So if we go to the next slide. So on a 2-1 buy down, what you're going to see is that basically it's just that. It's a fixed interest rate. We write the rate at 6.375. I'm using that as an example right now. So the first year is on a 2-1 buy down is what percentage, without looking at the screen? What's 2-1 buy down? Right. 2% lower the first year, 1% lower the second year. Year 3 through 30 is at just the note rate of what we write it at, right? So you're going to see here, year 1, right? We take all the factors into it. It saves the client $604 a month. That's pretty huge, right? The second year, it's going to save them $309 a month. And year 3 through 30, if they haven't refinanced, it just goes back to what their normal rate is, right? Again, it's fixed for 30 years. The cost to do this is about $10,900. So can you get a seller concession for $10,900 right now? Call it $11,000. Well, we have a lot of them that are coming through that are getting seller concessions for 15, 20,000, 10,000. So this is covered by the seller, and all they're doing is they're giving you $10,900 and whatever, call $11,000, to help subsidize the payment for the first 2 years. So the mortgage is still written at 6.375. And for anybody that has a mortgage, if you have your taxes and insurance included, there's a little thing called an escrow balance, right? Well, there's going to be some on their statement that says buy down balance. And every month, $604 are going to come out of that statement to help cover the difference in the payment, okay? And so, what you can see is like, again, the cost is usually has to be paid by the seller or the builder, right? Buyer qualifies at the 6.375. So this doesn't help to get someone to qualify for more. This helps when it's a problem of like the payment is too high, right? I don't want a high interest rate. Interest rates are still high. I don't want to buy. Okay, well then what interest rate do you want, Mr. Buyer, right? Because I can get you a 4.375 right now. Well, how can you do that? Well, with this 2-1 buy down. Does that make sense? So it's best for people that are expecting like income growth, right? So like over the next 2 to 3 years, right? People are worried about, well, I don't want that payment. Well, hopefully you're still not making what you're making now in 3 years from now. You know, hopefully you're refinancing. How many times did you hear was it marry the house, date the rate or whatever it was? Well, like all those people that said it feel like fools right now because it's been now 3 years. People's loans are adjusting, right? Going up to the year 3 mark, and we're still at a higher interest rate than what they got. So like I wouldn't necessarily put that, but it is good to put in their minds, like hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to refinance, right? Yeah, we've been saying that for a while, but hopefully we're at that tail end now, right? And then also, do they plan on selling before then, right? Now, the great thing about the temporary buy down, you guys, is let's say you got $11,000, it goes, and after year 1, they refinance. And there's still $6,000 left in that buy down account. The buyer gets to keep that. When we order a payoff, it comes off the payoff demand. So they don't lose that money. Okay. So again, $609 or $604 savings the first year, $309 the second year. It's pretty huge, and that'll help move a client from like from a no to a yes, right? So let's look at the same $11,000, what that does on a permanent buy down right now. So you're gonna see right here, like basically if I compare it to like actually we're gonna come back to this slide. All right, so on a permanent buy down, it takes the rate from 6.375 right now. If I use $11,000 to buy it down, which is roughly the same amount, I can only move it to a 5.625. So that literally, the difference, if we go back to the previous slide, like it's going to save them $233 a month on the permanent buy down compared to the temporary buy down. And then if we look over year 3, right? Because if we take the 604 and we minus what the 233 is at the savings of the permanent buy down, over year 3, the temporary buy down still saved them $2,568 more over the course of the 3 years. That makes sense? So go to the next slide again. So you could see here, like the difference, year 3, like is when they're finally going to start recouping their cost on a permanent buy down. So if you have a client that's like really expecting some life changes in the first 2 years, 3 years, like you're doing your client a disservice by not talking about the temporary buy down and understanding how much difference it can make. Because when you just say, oh, we can get a 2-1 buy down, the client goes to think about my parents that lost the home and I don't want an adjustable rate mortgage, right? Whereas if you were to say, well, hey, look, let's talk to my loan officer, financial friend, because I think like a permanent buy down is only going to save you like $200. I can save you $600. Now all of a sudden they want to listen a little bit more, right? But sometimes you can't even get me to that conversation with them because they just don't want to even have it, right? So you guys have to be a little educated on this just so you can have that conversation more. So like we put together a little chart, you're going to see. So like you're going to see like the blue line is the permanent buy down, right? As far as savings, and the other one, look, like year 4 is finally when it crosses over that it actually starts saving the client money on the permanent buy down, but not until year 4, right? So it says, while the 2-1 buy down offers significant savings on year 1, year 2, year 3, right? It flattens out to 0 right about a permanent buy down around year 4. The permanent buy down is $233 a month, which saves them about $2,796 annually. So that $2,800 that it saves them, I have to get all the way to $11,000, which is year 4, before they didn't lose, right? Because if they refinance years 2, years 3, the seller made out because the buyer doesn't get any of that back, right? They refinance to that 5.625 that I'm going to get them to, right? Or they refinance to a 5.25 year 2, like they lost. Does that make sense? The buyer loses, right? The seller gave the money no matter what, right? The bank actually won if your client refinances before year 4. That makes sense? Any questions on this? Yeah.
Yeah, quick. As I'm speaking with my sellers, I'm suggesting that we put seller is offering a 2-1 buy down in the verbiage on the MLS, which means the buyer then has to go with you.
Well, the buyer just has to go with somebody.
Well,
I would word it more so of the fact of like, we're offering $15,000 that could be used for a buy down, right? Because
okay.
the 2-1 buy down, it doesn't sound significant, right? It doesn't sound like if a buyer sees it in the notes or the agent sees it in the private remarks. Like, do you know what a 2-1 buy down costs for 500,000? Did you know before I just told you?
I did because I knew what it cost for a $1 million house. So we just divided it in half.
But remember, a buy down changes based off of loan amount and interest rate starting. So you can't compare the $1 million scenario to a $500,000 scenario because interest rate and loan amount could be different, right? So putting a 2-1 buy down has no, there's not like when a borrower writes a check, when the agent asks for concessions, like you're not asking, hey, can I on the contract 2-1 buy down? You have to put a dollar amount. So find out from whoever the lender is, right? Whether it's me, whether it's somebody, hey, how much is it going to cost for a buy down? Like I have a builder account right now that they have about 20 houses in Yucaipa that they're starting to sell. And we went through what a buy down would cost off of like 5% down, 3% down, FHA, VA, right? Because all those loan amounts are different. And now they've decided, okay, we're going to offer X amount in dollars and they can use it for whatever they want, right? So that's how I would pose it to the seller and then explain this is the avenue we're going to try to explain to the buyer, but you still probably should offer just a $15,000 flat commission or concession. That makes sense?
Thank you.
What other questions?
So that could go towards closing costs.
Which
The offering of 15,000.
it can go towards closing costs, right? If they don't have the money for it, or more so, it can go towards the buy down. So like knowing what the client's hesitation is where you're going to lead to on finding what you need to ask for and why you need to ask for, right? Because if the client has a problem with the payment, are you going to ask for closing costs? Why? Because it's not going to save them anything, right? Cool. They had the money for the closing costs, right? If the client is upset about interest rates, are you going to ask for closing cost coverage?
No,
No, because it doesn't do anything, right?
right.
So like just not knowing, and when the client just tells you no, or like, oh, I don't know, the payment seems high. Well, what is it about the payment, right? Is it the interest rate? Is it the payment? Is it that you don't have enough money for closing costs? We have one right now with Glenn, where like the lady thought she was going to get a gift, couldn't get the gift, was going to fall out of escrow. It was like $820,000. So I had the conversation with the client, like, what is it really that's the problem? She's like, well, I just don't have enough money. So then what do? We raised the rate a little bit and gave them $12,000 in lender credit to help pay for their closing costs. And now they're in escrow and they'll close, right? And he's making 2.5%, 2% off of it, right? So finding what their true concern is about why they don't want that house is going to get you paid. And a lot of people just want to try to shove it down someone's throat. But again, permanent down versus temporary buy down could be huge on saving someone $200 a month or $600 a month. You had a question?
How low can we buy it down? Like low, is there like a limit?
So, yes.
Like we need like 2% low.
Yeah. So, as you can see, $11,000, which is roughly a 2% concession, only dropped their interest rate. Was it a little bit over half, 5/8? To drop it down 2% on a permanent buy down is probably going to cost 4 or 5 points, and we're going to run into a high cost issue. And that high cost issue is not going to allow us to do it. So yeah, I could say all day long, yeah, cool, we'll buy it down. And then guess what? In the middle of the transaction, I'm gonna be like, oh, hey, even though the seller's paying for it, there's a high cost test and it's just not allowed, right? So, and then that 4 or 5% that you're going to ask for, let's say it's 5% that you have to ask for to get down 2%, 100,000 is $25,000. Like I would have rather done the 2-1 buy down and then use the rest for their closing cost coverage. So now all of a sudden the client only had to come in with the 3.5, or 5%, got 2% lower, and also got their closing cost covered. There's a smarter way of, I think, using the money sometimes. Yeah, so, I mean, when you ask for it, it's towards reoccurring and non-reoccurring closing costs, right? If that's how you're gonna do it for closing costs. But when it comes to a buy down, like it literally has to be like this money is being used for a temporary buy down or for a rate buy down. Because the lender needs to know that this is what's being done and that we're taking that money and the seller's okay with it and we're putting it into an account to help subsidize the payment. So like, a lot of times agents will just ask for the 11,000 or the 15,000. I'm okay with it. Just get it, right? Because I can always go back and say, hey, we need an addendum changing. We can adjust it. We have one right now where the agent went and asked for $15,000 because depending on the price point, that's about what we needed. And then unfortunately the purchase price was higher. And so we needed $15,471. Well, we only had 15,000. So then the agent had to now go back and ask for the $471. And the listing agent's like, yeah, go, pound sand, right? Take it out of your commission. And so, he's obviously doing that and it works out just fine. But like $471, if you would have just asked me before, like we wrote that. But again, we had been talking about it on houses for 700, 750, right? We go into 800, again, higher loan amounts, different interest rates at that time can change that buy down amount by a couple $100. So it's really important to get that full amount from the lender. No, there's actually, for FHA, Tyler, do you have those amounts? It's 6%. A convention 3%, but if they put down more than 10%, they can ask for 6%. And I think if they put down more than 20 or 25%, it can go up to 9%. Yeah. So, can you look it up? Actually, I think it's,
We got to keep moving.
yeah. 9% seller concession if they're putting like 20% down. Correct.
For the most part, the people that you run into is usually going to be about 6% because it's all going to.
Yeah, but again, if they're putting
FHA.
less than 10% down, you ask for 6, you're going to lose out because I can only do 3% on conventional. Yeah, so that's FHA.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sexy guy up there.
And if they put 25% down or more, it goes up to 9%.
So again, just ask the lender because you don't want to ask for too much, not be able to use it. The seller wins. We don't want the seller to win.
That's usually the case anyway. Before I start doing any kind of numbers, I'll call who I'm going to be talking to as far as a financial friend.
Yeah.
Okay, what can we do for this client because they're sensitive to the monthly payment or
Temporary buy
they
down.
they don't have down payment.
Yeah.
Period.
Again, you just got to figure out why they don't want the temporary buy down. And I guarantee you, it's mostly psychological that they saw
Right.
someone lose a house in 08.
Okay. That it. Anybody else have a question before we move on? Awesome. Thank
All right,
you
cool. Thank
so
you.
much, Kristen.
Of course.
Christian is with Patriot Pacific. They are one of our in-house lenders. If you get a OpCity or Realtor.com, all of those your buyers need to go towards Patriot Pacific. This is an account that he shares with us, so make sure that you are sending those to Christian. Thank you so much, Christian. And his team. I mean, that was great. This is something that you guys need to know because we are seeing more seller sessions. So make sure you're using them where your client needs them to be used. Okay, next. Okay. Okay, ZHL. Oh, we were going to do iCOR next. So iCOR is another one of our in-house lending services. So Usually we have somebody in here from iCor, but they're not here today. So you guys are familiar. You see Oscar around the office a lot. Dominic has been in here, Sonia. So also they're here to help our team as well. ZHL, boy, I can't talk enough about ZHL. I know I do a lot in Reveal. For those of you that show, for those of you that don't, I pause you anyways. So ZHL is very important to all of us. They give us a certain amount of pre-approvals that we have to meet. If we do not meet the number that they give us, our lead count, those direct leads, go down. So that affects everybody. So last month, we did not meet it. We barely made it halfway to what our goal was that they set for us. Luckily, we had enough closings and openings that were Zillows that we didn't lose any of our leads. So November, we still have a very strong lead count, but that will not continue. Those will go down. So your first place to go to should be Zillow Home Loans. No, they don't do mobile homes. If you've got a mobile in a park, they will not do it. No, they don't do down payment assistance. Their buy box is not big, but if you've got a good, strong client, that's where you need to send them first. If you even have a client that comes in, oh, I have my own lender, you can take that opportunity to get them that second opinion. Now, ZHL is good. It's not that they're not. Their rates are competitive. They are going to pay for your client's appraisal, and they're going to order it right away. So you're not going, oh crap, you know, my contingency is about to expire and my appraisal isn't done. It's
Kathy,
done.
I have a question about that. I thought the appraisal, they just pay it up front and then they wrap it into the loan later on. So it's not technically free for the client.
Not from what I understand. You would have to reach out to them directly because that is not what they advertise or have told us. So I don't think that's true.
I just
So-
closed one and that is not what happened.
Who?
Great, that's good news.
Oh, so Tracy just closed one and she said that it was not included in the closing costs, right? Is that what you just said, Tracy?
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
It did not get wrapped up into the loan at all. It was paid by ZHL.
Well, you know what, let's just, you know, if you've got an individual, you know, situation with Zillow, you know, you need to address it with them. But as far as their rules go, and I haven't seen it, they pay for your appraisal. They get it done up front. That way you guys don't have to worry if it falls out, your client isn't out that money. So, you know, Zillow Home Loans, good second opinion. That doesn't mean if you get a pre-approval from them, you have to close with them. You're just doing your best for your client. You know, you want to make sure that they're getting the best rate. Even if they take that pre-approval and just show it to the lender where they already have one, you know, hey, this is what they're offering me, you know, maybe they're going to beat that rate. Doesn't matter to me if you close it with them. I need the pre-approval. So what's going to happen is this is a new month. So at the beginning of the month, they go ahead and me and Jenny sit down and we have to go through each and every one of you and allocate how many leads you should get for the month. Now, Zillow has already set these numbers, so we can override them. But if you're getting a bunch of leads and sending nothing to Zillow Home Loans, they're going to say you get one or you may get two. So if me and Jenny think you should get more, we will give you more. But if it's something that you do month over month after month, you're going to get one or two for the entire month. So nobody, I don't want to be the bad guy, but it affects the entire team. So I prefer it affect you than the whole team. So it's really not fair to everybody.
Can I say something about that lender? So that from my no, never. I'm never, hey, no. So Laura Clay, it sounds like from me that it sounds, I've had so many conversations with her about this, that she actually has to, the loan officers has to add that in there. So it is possible for the ZHL loan officer not to peg the client and get them that credit or that paid by Zillow. So they have to put it, there's a checkbox in their system. And the other thing,
Make sure that you remind them.
yes, and because that only comes because of the large team, because you're a mega team. It
Right.
doesn't happen for everybody. So you need to they need to make sure to put that in there because they may not have they overlooked it. The second thing I was going to say is that when it comes to getting pre-approvals with the ZHL, I was having a tough time, and watching Chris knock it out of the park with like 100% was pissing me off. So what I did is I actually sent a message to ChatGPT, actually asking it the difference for using, getting the credit ran by 2 different loan officers within a short period of time. And then I just take a screenshot of that and I send it to my clients, because then they see it from somebody else that it is not going to affect their credit. And I was able to get them to
Love that.
to double pre-qualify, where before they're like, I have my own lender. And now I'm like, here, this is why we need it. And they're going to meet and beat if they can. So it's a good option for you.
I hope everybody just heard that, because that's really going to help you as far as getting that second opinion.
Is that because it's a soft pull?
Because it is a soft pull and you're doing it within 30.
We all know the struggles with your client. You want to get them hooked up with a lender while you have them. If you have a phone call prior to that, it doesn't always work, but more than not, if you reach out to somebody, say, hey, I'm meeting my client at noon, will you be available for me to transfer the call to you? So you're going to have a much better chance of getting that agent on the phone call with your client. So make sure you're doing that. So Zillow Home Loans, hopefully nobody has any questions there. I need those pre-approvals. They already expect us to have 2. We have none. So we're going to be playing catch up this month as far as pre-approvals. So I need you guys to make sure you're doing that. And it will affect the amount of live leads that you get from Zillow. So it's a big deal. So make sure you guys are getting that done.
I have one question on that, Kathy. I had issues getting in touch with the financial friends previously. Is that resolved, or do we have somebody that we can go to that is more of a guaranteed answer?
Well, and that's why I said you need to be reaching out to these loan officers not when you're with the client, before you're with the client. That way you get that relationship built and you let them know ahead of time, I'm going to be meeting my client at such and such time. Will you be available? Yeah. If you wait until the last minute, hey, I'm on my way there, are you available in half an hour? No, that's not going to work for you. So those relationships are very important.
And then Kathy on Slack every weekend, Kathy puts in any ZHL financial friends that are available for that weekend. And it might not be one of our direct ones that are here on the screen, but it could be ones that are available to our areas for that weekend. So utilize those.
Yes, I usually and there's usually about 10 of them for the weekend, and I post them every Friday. So it is our guys, but it's additional guys, mostly that cover the LA area. So there's like 10 of them available. So if that you're going out on Saturday, call somebody Friday and say, hey, I've got a meeting with my client on Saturday at 2, would you be available to take a call from them? That is going to get them to respond a lot quicker than you just picking up the phone and then, complaining that they didn't pick up. So they're not sitting by the phone waiting for your call. So you need to do your part in getting it done.
I know that I both work, but we'll just do the text over. Hey,
But again, you two have a relationship with her. So that makes a difference, you know. So if, you know, Lauren just texts her, hey, I'm going to be with a client in 10 minutes, she's going to go, you're who? So you need to have that relationship. So make sure you're doing that. So because I'm such a nice person, every time, who laughed at that? Because I'm such a nice person, Angelica, I am going to give you a $10 gift card to Starbucks every time I get that pre-approval. And that comes out of my pocket. So see how much I love you guys? So, wow, look at them laugh at that. Okay, so just a little incentive. I was trying to do it at the end of last month and I only got one pre-approval and that was James. James gives me one every month. So I did send him that $10 gift card. So very simple for me to do and it just shows that I appreciate you guys for doing your part as well. Okay, so next we are moving into our new listing protocol. So whatever is on the contract that you guys signed for the team will be amended. So this should be exciting for you. So we have a new listing protocol. Instead of you guys going out there, and this is for team leads, not your personal leads. Sorry, guys. So not, and it's right across here, does not apply to your personal listing. So if it's a team lead, then what's going to happen is when you go on your listing appointment, you need photos, you need that lockbox rental. If we have a lockbox available, of course we will, you can check it out. We have about 10 of them, something like that. So if we have them, of course we're gonna let you use them. But if we don't, you'll have to rent one. You're gonna have to get the post. So what we've decided to do is credit you at closing. We cannot put this money up front for everybody. We would be out thousands of dollars. So we decided to give you a credit. And we're basing it on the price. So 0 to basically 150 is 150, up to 500, from 150 to 500 is 250. And these are going up because, you know, the more expensive the house is, the more that they expect. So you're going to need more pictures. So we're going to go ahead and credit you once it closes. Of course, we have for sale signs and open house signs for you to use, but this is our new listing protocol. So we've also got this on a tile in TWT Agent so that you can refer to it. Okay, so the next thing that we have for you, Zillow Showcase. It's funny, me and Lauren, we did a Zoom on Friday with Sam over at Zillow about the showcase. What we didn't know, so every listing lead that we give you guys, you get Zillow Showcase. That doesn't cost you anything. It is free with our account that we have. Now, the other thing that we didn't realize is, let's say you have a buyer with Zillow and then you have to list their house as well, because they are getting a referral fee off the top, you know, because it's too deep. Because they are still getting a referral fee, you get this for free. So this has a lot of really good advantages. If we want to move the slide. Yes. So sell faster and for more money. Unlock your home selling potential with Showcase. So Showcase is going to, it's a premium listing experience on Zillow that offers your home powerful marketing exposure with dedicated emails, prioritized placement in the MLS. You're going to get features of virtual tour, interactive floor plan. So you guys are going to get all of this, and it's not going to cost you anything extra. Yeah, you're going to get all. Everyone can but you. Yes, we will make sure, I will make sure it's posted so you guys. Okay, showcase listings are more likely to go pending in 14 days compared to not. Showcase listings sell for 2% more. Makes your home the hero. So features high resolution photography, 3D home tour, and interactive plan, increases exposure, special map stickers, dedicated emails to interested buyers, featured on Apple Vision Pro. Oh, I like that answer, Tommy. Google it.
Did you just say goggle? Is it goggle? Is it Apple? No, it's the Apple thing.
Mhm.
Oh, you guys are asking.
Okay, so it's going to enhance, we got to keep going, guys. Enhance your visibility into listing performance, access to insights on listing views, saves, and shares. Okay, what other sellers say about Showcase? So this is just, when our Showcase listing went live, we were shocked at how many views and saves we were getting. We kept logging in to see the numbers go up. Our house sold for more than any other house in our neighborhood ever did in a slow market. Marketing is very important for your listings, and enhancing your listings with this and it not costing you anything is a big boost that nobody else is going to have. So now, did you have a question, John, or are you just stretching your arm?
I don't know. Kathy.
We're gonna go through the photos as well. So we are going to show you how to do the showcase, how that you guys can do it. And there is a place they do also have a photographer that these photographers are already approved through them. You can use whoever you want as long as they're familiar with Showcase.
Who's paying for them?
Pardon me?
Who's paying for them? The photos.
The photos, remember at the beginning of this, we said you get a listing credit.
I know.
So you're putting the money up, and when it closes, you're going to get a credit at closing. You're paying for it up front.
Right. But then in the Zillow showcase, it said something about photos. You get photos. So.
Let me walk you through it, okay?
Thank you so much, Lauren. No, I like it.
Kathy, can you hear me? It's James.
Give it away. Give it away now.
Mhm.
Somebody online had a question on
Oh,
Zoom.
no. It's James. I was just saying I posted a link to where they have like free downloads you can use for marketing purposes for Zillow Showcase. You can use it. So they have flyers, email templates, some social media posts. You can use those to market Showcase.
Great.
Or, yeah. I'll put it on Slack too.
Okay.
They even have a video.
You can use this. Yes, you can also use this for your personal leads. And you will get a 25% discount because we have our account. Now, what I wasn't going to say it, but I'm saying it anyways. We also get 5 credits a month. So of course, Andrew's using some on his personals. So, but we can add for this month. So they do carry over. So actually next week, we actually have Sam coming in, and he's going to go more in depth on this because he's the expert. We did a Zoom on Friday with him to learn it. It was great. We did the Zoom and he was there in a pirate costume. So that made it really fun.
It was fun.
It was Halloween. So he was into it. So it was fun though. But no, he is the expert on it. So he'll be here next Wednesday to get more in-depth questions answered. So with having those 5 credits, and I think we have 8 right now because they carried over. So I'm going to check with Andrew. I would love to do some sort of a contest to where we give away one of them to somebody that has a listing coming for their personal lead. So it would have been great for Felicia's because hers was $1 million listing that she just took. So it would have been a perfect one to do it for. So. Okay, so now we're going to walk you through, how to do this. So you're going to go to Zillow-workspace.com. And then you're gonna sign in.
So, okay, so what you'll do is, and it's not having me do it because I just logged myself in. But what you're going to want to do is on the front screen, you're going to have to create an account. So when you log in, it's going to be your email address. It's going to tell you that you need a password. What you're going to do is you're not going to say create a new account because you guys are already part of Zillow. You're going to do forgot password. When you do forget password, it's going to email you and then you set up your new password. Okay. Once you do that, you have to click on the right-hand side to your profile and you're going to start to fill in your information. You have to have your profile set up or Showcase is not going to work in your favor.